y'all to the Polish Hustle. And as you can see today, it is a little different. I am super excited to introduce you guys to my very first guest, which is the incomparable, the amazing, the illustrious Ebony Burks of Golden Black here in Dallas, Texas. Hi, friend.
Hi,
How you
friend. I'm
doing?
doing good.
You doing
I
good?
need you for all the intros.
Girl, listen, look at here. Look, girl, I can be tailored. I can be commissioned, honey. Listen,
Oh,
yes,
like a little
honey.
retainer.
Yeah,
Little
yeah, you
retainer
just
fee.
a couple of candles will do me right.
Oh,
A
okay,
couple of
okay.
candles will do me right. Yes, ma'am. Well, honey, I am so happy that we have finally got to this space where I can connect with you. I really want to dive in a little bit and give them a bit of the background that I have in terms of how I met you.
Okay.
Um, when y'all, I love candles, absolutely adore them. And one day I was just like, I need me a little something, something for the house. I wanted something that was just nice and different, but at the same time, I didn't want a Bath and Body Works experience. No shame, no shade to anybody that does. But for whatever reason, those candles just give me a throbbing headache. And so I was like, I need my candles, but I don't want to, sacrifice. And lo and behold, I Googled, I clickety clacked a little bit, and it was like Dulcie Dawn over there to Golden Black. And I walked in, and y'all, the first step I had in here was the biggest, refreshing, deep breath. It the experience was just head and shoulders over anything I could have imagined. So I know that if I had that experience the very first time, then so many have had that experience time and time again. So I am really excited to learn really the life of Golden Black and more importantly, the mother, the one who started it all. Ebony, I need to know. I need to know. I got some questions, friend. You ready for me to
Oh,
get
I got
into
some
it?
answers.
You
I
do?
think I do.
Honey, well, we gonna see. We gonna see. We sure gonna see about it. Well, I tell you what. So, give us a bit of background. What exactly is Golden Black? Where did it come from, and did it start out this way the entire time? Like, was this really the true conception of it?
Yes. So, Golden Black. Golden Black is a candle brand, so a home fragrance brand, and the byproduct of that is our candle lounge. So we offer an in-person candle making workshop. So individuals or groups come in and they're able to curate and pour their own fragrant candle.
Okay, okay, okay. So, with that experience, is it a situation where you have all of these different options, or is it more so an opportunity where it's like you're guided through it? Kind of, what does that look like in terms of when a guest comes in and what the experience is scheduled to look like?
Yes. So the experience is like a 90-minute workshop. There it is a guided session, so you'll have an experience maker walk you through the steps on how to create that signature fragrance, and then they also walk you through the actual blending of the candle and pouring. So it is a guided class, but it's very custom to that individual because preference is key, right?
For sure,
So
sure.
you're able to come in and create your own signature scent.
Okay, okay. Well, so with knowing that you have this ability to really go in and customize, um, this particular side of it, where did it come from? Like, where was this idea birthed from?
Yes, I mean, because you did ask me all those questions at the the first time.
I had to know. I was like, how did I land here? Because I'm never leaving, honey. This is home.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm so happy that you said that it's home. Because from the very beginning, we were intentional on wanting to not only have this product, but to also create this space. In a safe space for our community.
Yes.
So Golden Black was actually birthed during a very dark time of uncertainty for the world, right? So it was birthed during COVID.
Okay.
And that was just out of me really just buying a candle kit. Went online and put this kit in my cart. And I actually started with a business partner at that time.
Okay.
So she and I bought the kit and we kind of like went through the motions of figuring out how to make a perfect candle because it is a science. Didn't know that we were getting into chemistry, but definitely was able to master our recipe
Yes.
and we got a good candle. And then from there, Dallas never shut down, so we were able to go out to all of the pop ups and the markets to sell the candles.
Honey, that's not a flex, but it's so true. Between Dallas, Atlanta, and Houston, it was like who trying to out COVID who? Yes, no, you okay? Okay, I'm here
Because
with
we
them.
were
Yeah.
outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm with you when you're right, but
Yes, look,
okay.
you didn't want to say you was
Yeah.
outside
I mean,
at that time, but we was outside.
okay, well, that's a different conversation for a different time. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, so you're absolutely
Yes.
right. So with it, like you said, still really there was still so much life going on in Dallas, in spite of. It landed you to an opportunity where you were like, "Hey, this is something that could be beneficial for the community."
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. So at a pop up, I've been a creative like my whole life, and like forward thinking. So with that, at a pop up, it was dead because you know pop ups, you either got a whole bunch of motion or none.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to dream because I am a dreamer, and it came to me like this would be a really cool experience for people to come out and do. So was really thinking a lot of like the painting with a twist. That's where it kind of
Yes.
came from,
Okay.
and it was like okay, just switch it out. Just put the candle there, right? It's more practical.
Yeah.
It's like you go do the paintings all the time. I hide mine in my laundry room.
Ma'am.
But even with the candle, if the candle doesn't come out pleasant, you'll still burn it, right?
Yes.
Even if it is in your washroom, your laundry, in the restroom. So, um, we were able to capitalize off of timing and location because you know that's the biggest thing when it comes to business. So our studio, it opened up at the when the world opened up. So in 2022 is when our first studio opened, and we opened downtown Dallas in a high rise. So traditionally it was an office building, but we were able to get a suite within there on the third floor, and through all of the organic growth we were able to expand within that building at least 3 times. So we were in our original suite for merely like 3 to 4 months, so throughout the summer, because we experienced a ton of growth in a short amount of time.
Nice.
So by the winter months, we had moved into a suite that was over 2,500 square feet. Through the holiday season, we experienced another burst of growth, and we outgrew that space. So at the top of the year, about March ish, we were able to acquire the suite that was next to us. So we had 2 suites that was adjoining. So we had roughly over 4,000 square feet in our original location. And 2023 was a very challenging year for me in the brand because, like I mentioned earlier, I started with a business partner.
Yeah.
And things are seasonal sometimes.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that season was up for us in 2023, at the brink of us expanding and in construction, and all of the things, right?
Yes.
So it was a challenge because the break was very public, and humiliating for me.
Really?
Just in her like in the slandering of my name and the false accusations. But like anything else, that too passed.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and what doesn't like break us kind of like make us stronger. So through those trials and those tribulations, I was still able to push through, which was again challenging. And it was like, oh God, because I split, all the money was gone. I had to literally rebuild the business
The cat
in a
that ate
matter
the
of
rat that ate the
days.
cheese, like, yeah.
And then that's not even it. The icing on the cake was that our building that allowed us to grow and start and everything. It was whispers at the elevators that the building was selling. And Lord behold, by August, they announced that they sold the building and that it would no longer be for commercial use. So we had like 3 months to get out. So I moved out in October of 23. Again, after losing my business partner, expanding, construction, I shut down for 5 months. So in the world of entrepreneurship, it was a challenge because it went from making money every day to no money and no space
Very different.
and off of a breakup.
Literally very, very different ends of the spectrum. Because now at this point where you're completely used to at least some type of cadence, some type of rhythm in the business, now it's comes to an abrupt stop and really seemingly through experiences that are beyond your control. And you made a pivotal point in relation to, sometimes we're in these seasons and we don't necessarily qualify it as a season because in our mind we're like, I don't know what next steps are. I don't even know where this came from. And more importantly, why is it happening to me? I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. Why is this the result of that? And so those uncomfortable places really kind of reposition us to get into a different mindset. So, speaking into that, knowing that entrepreneurship has a way of really growing us up pretty quick. What are some things that you had to be very intentional, some decisions that you had to be very intentional about through those growth spurts between, the transition of partnership, with, understanding, hey, I have to move, I have to relocate, I have to basically, kind of put boots on the ground in a different way. What were some of those intentional decisions that you're like, no matter whatever the circumstance is, I got to stick to this?
So some of the core decisions that I had to make, I think the number one core decision that I had to make was not to give up, not to stop, right? Because everything happened so fast. I mean, this journey is happening fast. I don't know where the time goes.
Honey, look.
I'm like, this is what 24 hours look like? Because sometimes I stay up 24 hours and the work's still not done. But no, just the decision to not stop. And I say that because that, again, 23 was so challenging. I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop to even catch my breath, right? And I say not to stop even after even during the 5 months of being shut down, I wasn't able to stop. It was still work that had to be done behind the scenes. I still had to go out on tours. I still had payroll to pay. So it was like I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop.
There you go. There you go. And I actually think when you have the desire not to stop, it doesn't allow you to get deep into the mentality of failure is an option. That has a very specific way of being a propeller for most of us because we get to a position where it's like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's not uncomfortable enough for me to give it up. It's uncomfortable enough for me to learn something. It's uncomfortable enough for me to, ow, that hurt, okay, it stung, but what am I going to take from it? And so I think when you do kind of allow that yourself to seep into that mental space of being like, well, I mean, I could just go ahead and give it up. And then at that point, it really changes the complete trajectory of how you even want to move forward, if you want to move forward at all. So I think that was a really good point of being like, I didn't want to give up. I had to keep going because basically it wasn't going to stop.
Yeah, it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
I never thought about going to fill out an application, updating my resume or nothing.
It's like, yeah, no.
I'm just like, I need the key.
Okay, baby.
I need the lease.
I'll figure this out.
I need to open up my calendar again so that the coins can flow again.
I need to put some feet on some pavement, okay? I need to make some phone calls. I need to hit some emails. I need to clickety-clack a little bit. But, yeah, no, that's not, And, hey, listen. That's the beautiful thing about it because otherwise, here we are. Here we are. So with knowing that it has prompted you to think about, hey, listen, these intentional decisions, these things that I have to pour into my business, what are some of the growing pains that you physically had to address with yourself to say, yeah, these are the needs of my business, but if I don't fix this personally about myself, it's still not going to be fruitful to the business.
I mean, it's still now, right? Like, because I believe that healing is a journey.
Yeah.
That is not a destination. So I'm steadily like improving myself and improving who I am. But what you mentioned is like physically, what did I have to do for Ebony, for Golden Black to keep running? And I feel like that has been really to prioritize rest. That it really isn't an option. That I have to take time to not only pour into me, but to carve out time to really not to do anything. Because I like to call myself a visionary. And as a visionary, you're creative and you're thinking and the juices are flowing. So I need time just for that sometimes,
Honey,
right?
rub some of it off on me. Look, give it to me. Because the problem is, and I love to hear that rest is a priority. Like, this is literally something we just had a conversation about was, the priority of rest. I know for me I feel guilty in some ways when I'm like, you need to sit down and really just have the moment to think. But I also know that when I move too much and I'm doing too much too fast, it almost seems like a mosh posh of things. It doesn't have the same clarity if I had taken that time. And to your point, With a visionary needs clarity. A visionary needs a visual roadmap to understand what next steps can be, so that that rest is clearly an essential. It's not even a request, it's a requirement. Yeah.
And for us all, right? We are always on this constant like grind muscle. I mean, this grind mentality, the hustle mentality, right? But it's like if you're not any good, you can't be any good to whatever you are trying to pour into. Especially as Black women, strong Black women, right? So like even in one of our earlier conversations, in the birth of all this COVID, people was able to rest.
Yeah.
You was able to get clarity. 2020, that was exactly what it was. 2020 vision. You were able to get vision.
I see what you did there. Okay, okay. I 100% agree. COVID, I always say COVID was a time of peace for me, because I was used to, I had a heavy travel schedule in my career. And so it forced me to sit down for a little bit. I still did have to travel quite a bit, but it also allowed me to start putting some thoughts into perspective. Some things that I was like, this is really cool. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It taught me that every thought, I don't have to follow it through with action. Sometimes a thought is just a thought. Sometimes it's just visiting you for a moment. Sometimes it's just there to keep you company. And sometimes it's like, hey, listen, that was cool, keep it pushing, right? So I do think, I know that that time of rest in 2020 was essential for more than enough reasons. And also, I had a lot of emotional clarity during that time, because I was alone. It was me and a dog thugging it in the apartment, girl. Just like, I'm looking at her, she looking at me, and I'm like,
all you had was time to deal with yourself.
All I had was time to be with myself. And so it was the first time, really, ever, that it was just like day in, day out, the only person you got in your orbit is you. So yeah, it definitely was
unfortunate, but then again, it was fortunate for a lot of people.
It was necessary.
It was definitely necessary, a necessary evil.
Okay, friend. So with so much motion that's gone on with the business, from hey, birthing it and raising it and loving it and disciplining it, what are some things that you personally had to unlearn? Like, what are some beliefs that you had coming into it that, as you've grown with time, you're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to change that about myself, or that belief system?
The number one thing I would say is really believing in myself, knowing that I can do it, especially with starting with a business partner, right?
Yeah.
So really it was a pivot in the separation, because now I'm a solo entrepreneur, right? And understanding that, like, no, you can do this.
Yeah.
You had the capacity to do it. So I feel like I gained a sense of confidence, self-confidence, that I didn't think I needed, right? Because, like, it's like confident. I'm confident, right? But it gave me a whole nother layer of it. Yeah. And not only that, the kind of person I am, I have a very mild-tempered type of personality.
Yes.
I'm very easygoing until I'm not.
Honey, baby, like, it's good until it ain't. I tell people, listen, baby, I'm good until I ain't. Like, I love you until you don't. Okay,
until
like,
you
yeah,
don't.
okay,
Don't test
okay,
me.
okay,
You
or
know?
do, or do,
You know?
or do, or
But play where
it's
it's
always
safe.
a child. Listen,
You know?
do what you feel that you need to get through this moment, and I'll move accordingly.
We match energy.
There you go. I mean, hey, listen.
But I'm gonna still remain me, though.
There you go. There you go. That's the value of it. I'm never gonna compromise my character to get to a level of which you are, but I'm also gonna make sure that we're on the same place of compatibility, that you understand. Don't do this no more. Don't do it no more.
No, we ain't gonna do it.
We ain't
Never
gonna do it no more.
again. But in that, in being such a nonchalant type of person in business, that doesn't work. Either it works or you get taken advantage of. And I'm on the side where it's like, oh, they playing in my face. But then it's like the accountability, right? So I feel like that's one of the things that I'm continuing to grow into. I never really had a problem in it because I'm a counselor, right?
Yes.
So I feel like I counsel myself. I don't need no counseling. So I do the processing, right? So then in that, and checking my own self, and that own self evaluation phase, right? it just showed me that you have to be formal in business, right? And it's like people only do what you allow them to do, and that you do have to have said boundaries
Yes.
and said processes and systems in place when it is a full anything that you start, whether it's a hustle, at any phase of that journey, like wherever you're at, you have to have some type of professionalism with whatever you're doing.
Yes.
So again, to my point, I'm an unformal person. I don't like being formal, but this has forced me to cross my eyes, not cross my eyes, dot my I's, cross my T's,
Yeah, yeah.
have the checklist,
Yes.
have the contracts. So then when I do go in and have that conversation, I have these things that's backing me up, right?
100%.
But more than anything, confidence and being more of a professional and having a standard across the board.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about confidence, and confidence is one of those things I qualify in my life as a discipline. And a discipline requires intent, it requires practice. It's like communication, it's like going to the gym, it's like, if you say you want to get better at something, it's a discipline. And confidence is has so many different channels. So the way that you're confident with your business partner would be different than the way you're confident with your romantic partner, would be the way that you're confident with your mom or your friend or whatever. It's flexible, but it also is guidelined by boundaries. And so to your point, those boundaries are essential. My mother used to tell me that givers have to set boundaries because takers don't have any. And so knowing that it's always a position where you could be subjected to someone taking advantage of those boundaries, it requires that discipline to be very strong, very intentional. And it's also really important, as you mentioned, like, hey, I know this about myself. So because I know this about myself, I have to create these boundaries for myself to be honorable to myself.
Because boundaries work both ways.
100%.
People don't understand that.
Absolutely.
And it feel comfortable for me to set this boundary.
I mean, but hey, but it's
it
necessary.
made me do stuff that I ain't want to do.
But I also know that if there is someone in your orbit that has an issue with you having a boundary, then that's not somebody that deserves to be in your orbit. Because the boundary is not determined or designed to hurt you. It's here to help me. So if you're telling me that something that I've designed for me to create the best experience for me to show up, to be present, is harmful to you, then unfortunately that's a contraindication that we don't have a real way around. We have to reposition what this looks like and examine what the relationship looks like. So I do think that it's really important knowing those things about yourself personally that help you to say, I have to do these things in order to have a stronger professional outlook on how my business will grow. Yeah. Okay, so tell me, with knowing, you mentioned boundaries, tell me how 20-year-old Ebony would look at Ebony today.
I think the 20-year Ebony would be immensely proud of who she is today. Again, I would think and I would dream of all these different things. And at one point, prior to me launching this brand, I would say to myself, like, I'm tired of my years looking the same. Like, last year looked just like this year. Like it was just, I was caught in this cycle of like the mundane day-to-day task and things. And knowing that I wanted more, wanting to do more, having the desire to do more, but not quite going all the way for it. So I would just, my 20-year-old self is just really smiling with glee right now.
Yeah.
And just who I am today.
I think that's one of the biggest blessings. Identifying specifically that you say your years begin to look identical is really important for people to understand, because sometimes, and especially we just talked about how time flies, right? Like we blinked and 2 years are gone. And it almost seems like the years are just peeling away. So I think it could be very easy to get into a symmetrical space where it's like this looks like this and this looks like this, right? But then at some point you look up and you're like, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm irritated because I don't understand why all of this is the same, right?
And what I really feel like it is that we get in the way of it. It starts to be like you're trying to do it your way, right? And you're not, and we're not leaning in to the source enough,
Hello,
right?
hello.
And what I mean by that is that sometimes we have these like lofty ideals or expectations of like what purpose is or finding your purpose, right? But I believe that those dreams and those thoughts that come and pass you by and the things that come easy to you that and the things that you're able to contribute to the society that you're in around you, when you don't fully commit to it and discipline yourself to pull it out and to be involved and to participate in society and how God has designed you to be. Because I feel like that is the purpose. That's what He bestowed in us.
Yes.
That's what He put in us.
Yep.
And I feel like when you are dreaming of it and you want to do it and you don't quite get it done, I believe that it becomes insidious and it becomes your demise, right? So then you fall into these depression states and you fall into like this loneliness
And this
you
resentment. Yes.
because you never pulled out what God put in you, right? You know, because we prayed to God to do the things that are out of our control, that are unattainable, but it's like He let us do what is attainable. We still got to do it.
1,000%. 1,000%. I heavily subscribe to the idea that God would not give me a seed that He would not water. Like, there is not anything that God has placed in my life that I've said is a desire of my heart, and that He's just been like, okay, well, figure it out. Good luck, best of luck, right? It's always been watered through placed resources or, time to consider what it means to you. And also, one of the conversations we've had historically in relation to not me subscribing to the idea of you have to be ready to make a motion. My mama used to tell me again that ready is not a time, it's a decision. And so that looks like you need to put forth some motion, whether it's daily, whether it's hourly, whether it's, whatever the case, whatever it is that makes you understand that, again, you were gifted with something, not for the opportunity of you understanding what it means, but for you to take the journey to understand that is something greater that needs your impact.
And getting out the way, right?
Yeah.
And understanding that, and especially in this society, you can become an influencer and the spotlight can be you.
Honey.
And you can be the main character.
Yeah.
You can have these podcasts and everything is about you and it's your show or whatever, right? But what I also understand is that this thing isn't me-centered at all. It has nothing to do with me.
I'm literally just sitting here, but it's Him. It's Him moving through all of it. Yes. I'm just in the space. I'm just a vessel.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just a vessel.
That's
okay?
it.
A sassy vessel and sometimes a disobedient vessel.
Okay.
Sometimes a disobedient
Very
vessel.
disobedient.
But
But I show up when I need to.
We talked about this. We know we like one of God's baby's kids, right? Like we talked about
You
this.
took my words out my mouth.
Oh, honey, listen, you
I'm
give
just
them to
serving His
me.
baby kids. That's it.
Okay.
Sometimes
okay,
I'll be
listen.
mad.
Okay, a lot of times, but I'm gonna be
like,
all
okay,
right.
Lord.
Okay, I see what you did. I see why it happened. I see why it happened. So with knowing that you've really had the chance to not only grow your business, but you've grown through your business, what are some of the other experiences that you're looking forward to Golden Black enjoying? What are some of the things that you have that you're like, hey, this is what I'm about to give to my business, kind of next steps? Like, what are you looking to do?
Yes, ma'am. So I want to say I'm looking to do, but then again, I'm just putting it in His hands, right?
Yeah.
Because I see, you gotta have a plan, you gotta write it down, right? But I feel like this experience and this journey for me has been so serendipity, just because I've gotten out the way and I'm letting it grow and blossom so organically. So it's never forced, right? So I'm listening to the whispers in the room. I'm accepting and I'm receiving the feedback in such a way that then at that time I'm being nimble and I'm implementing what the community is asking for. Because that's what, more than anything, my desire and my vision is merely just to be a pillar in the community, a hub of resources.
Tell me, what feeling do you want your guests to leave when they walk, when they come out of Golden Black and they have their beautifully packaged and pristine, gorgeous candle, and they go home and they make that first trim to the wick and they hit it with the light and they place it wherever they want? What is the feeling that you want your guests to leave with? And remember when they are enjoying their candle.
I want them to experience the same warmth and intentional welcoming that they felt when they walked through our doors.
Short, sweet, to the point, honey, and I did. I literally ran home. I ran home to light my candle, and Halo gonna run around, and so he, standing up on his long hind legs, sniffing. I was like, yeah, you enjoy it too. You need some of this blessing on your little furry life too. Yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
And it's safe for him because it's soy coconut.
Listen, love on my baby. Listen, because
no toxic, no fumes.
Look,
none of that crazy black smoke making.
You see that? I love that plug. It's like, listen,
and it lasts. You've been burning it for a couple weeks. Because I seen you about a month ago.
Hey, we getting a little too. Hey, not too much. I'm coming back. I'm gonna be back next week. I mean, it's time. It is time. You're
customer acquisition is the key.
Listen,
please keep returning.
Give it to them, honey. Let them know. Speaking of which, what advice would you give to someone who is on that creative entrepreneurship that is saying, hey, I know what I have is golden. No pun intended. Mm-hmm. I know the idea that I have is golden. I know that what I have is going to add value, impact space to not only myself, but to my community. What advice would you give them?
I would just tell them to protect their creativity. And then also to practice that self-care. You still have to practice the self-care and have the discipline to rest when needed. Because as creatives, you just keep going and you go and you go and you go. But protecting that so people can't take from you. And then also creating those safe boundaries around your own self to kind of protect you.
Okay, friend, finish the phrase. The hustle is always worth it when
I realize that I'm not only building a brand, but a community.
I know that's right, honey. Listen, beautiful, selfless, talented, benevolent, blessed, covered. Stop. Honey, listen, baby, I couldn't ask for a better first guest. Honey, it has been nothing short of a pleasure and a privilege to not only get to know Golden Black, but to get to know Ebony Burks, friend. I am deeply appreciative, and I'm just, again, in awe, and I cannot wait to continue watching the greatness that you are pouring into this brand.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Same here. I'm honored. Thank you, friend.
You are so welcome, friend. You are so welcome. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in with us on this episode of The Polished Hustle. I am looking forward to connecting with you guys again very soon. You guys be sure to check out Golden Black, based in Dallas, Texas. How would they find you, friend?
So we are Golden, BLK for Black. So Golden Black Candle Lounge on all social.
Okay. Well, listen, y'all know where to find her. I'm going to come find y'all if y'all don't come find her. But you probably going to meet me there because, again, it's like a home away from home. So, literally, I'm always up here. I know I probably should be paying some rent at some point. Honey, y'all take care, be safe, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.